What is up, guys? Jerry with Sheepdog Ops. Another episode for you. We got a great guest with us. Obviously, you know me. I'm your normal sultry voice of entertainment every week. As we normally do with my co-host here, Mike. How you doing?
Good, sir. How you doing?
Just another day in paradise. I am obviously the owner-operator of Sheepdog Ops, and we have partnered with Battleraddle here, and that is who is represented by Mike. And then we've got our special guest today, Shawn. I don't know if you want me to just throw your YouTube stuff out there, or if I want to give you a chance. I'm going to let you do that. Mike, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then Shawn will get right into you.
All right, sounds good.
My name is Michael Pearson, you guys. I'm the owner and operator of Battleraddle, and we sell apparel. And today, guys, check us out for tuning in today. We have a giveaway. So this is going to be a t-shirt giveaway. Something we're going to introduce here in a couple of later episodes, myself and Jerry. We're not sure where the venue is going to be, but we're going to start doing live streams, and it'll be a giveaway type of podcast live stream. So today's podcast, if you tune in till the very end, I'm going to tell you how to win this t-shirt. This t-shirt right here is a large, so if you wear a large, we're going to give this to you absolutely free shipping. This is the one that you saw on Alien Gear Holsters. It's a Punisher skull, and it's got bullets and guns and all that cool stuff. It's got brass sleeve American flag on the right and your Battleraddle logo on the left with white lettering. So tune in to the end of this podcast, guys, and I'm going to show you how to win that. So thank you. And today, we got a very special guest today. His name is Shawn. Let me get his last name because I just added him on Facebook. His name is Shawn B. Laurie, guys. So he's going to tell you, he's got a great story. We were talking a little bit about it before this. But super great story, and go ahead, my man. He served in the military, did a couple tours, and he's gonna tell you all about his great story, guys.
All right, hey guys, what's going on? First of all, that's a bad shirt. I like that shirt. I really don't know shirts. So
we'll send you one for doing this podcast. Right. Whatever you want.
All right, that sounds great. All right, well, I was waiting for you to say it. It's actually Shawn, the veteran guy. So anytime I do any kind of businesses, that's what everybody knows me more as. But it's cool. So yeah, I did.
I was noticing that's. Sorry to interrupt you. That's the name of your actual organization that you started.
Yeah, it's veteran guy basically. I mean, you know, it's Shawn the veteran guy, but it's veteran guy, Shawn the veteran guy, whatever. But if you hear somebody talk about the veteran guy, you know it's me. So there's only one.
That's cool.
All right. Well. I guess we could go back to where I deployed. I did 2 years. I did 9 years in the military total. I did 2 tours to Afghanistan, and the last tour I did in 2010, I was part of route clearance, and I was actually the Husky driver, so it was pretty stressful. And about mid-tour, I ended up busting up my ACL and my meniscus, and they sent me back home, and I had to have surgery. Well, like everybody else, I started seeing doctors, and they started diagnosing me with all kinds of stuff. I started taking probably 15, 16 pills at a time. It was terrible. And got diagnosed with major depression, major anxiety, PTSD, psychosis. I mean, they had me a whole list of stuff that was wrong with me. And on top of my knee injury, which I had to go to physical therapy and learn to walk again and all this other stuff. So it was pretty bad. Like I said, I spent there for 2 years until 2012, and they medically discharged me, and basically said I was
You spent 2 years in the actual medical facility?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years at Fort Gordon, and 2 years. Because see, like pretty much the first half of the year, I was looking to hope to go back to my unit and maybe start my third tour, but it didn't work out that way. It pretty much turned into me being discharged. So. It just took forever. So after 2 years, they finally, I guess, retired me out. So I'm actually fully retired. Some people call it medically retired, but my paperwork says I'm just retired. So I'm out. And not by choice. It wasn't something I wanted to do. So when I got back home finally in 2012, it seemed like my life went crushing down, man. I didn't have any motivation. I lost all my purpose. I always knew I wanted to be in the military. That was always my goal. I always wanted to deploy. And it's something that I really wanted to do, but it was taken from me. So I was very depressed.
Just for people watching, I think you might be skipping a little bit of the story because we talked a little bit before this. But to give our listeners some of that backstory, he basically got taken out of theater.
Yeah.
So he was on the mobilization, second mobilization in Afghanistan, doing a original MOS or
yeah, original MOS 12. We were doing a route clearance mission, and I was actually in the MRAP, and I jumped out of it during a combat mission, and once I landed wrong, I fell down, and that's when I completely busted my ACL in half. So it was already hurt. It was already messed up. But
but I'm just trying to give some of that backstory. So, but what he told me was you were just doing a regular day training. You had busted it doing some training and just went through, tried to fight that pain like we all do because you were afraid they'd say,
all the way back. When
let's go back to the beginning. We'll start out at the beginning here.
I'm not trying to correct him. I'm just trying to real quick. But
I got you. That's what I'm trying to do here, Mike. I'm saying let's go back to the beginning. Let's kind of baby step through this because we do have people who do listen who aren't military or who are in a different branch. So, Shawn, you were in the Army. You did I believe it was 9 years. You said right?
Yeah, we did 9 years.
You did 9 years in the Army. What was your MOS?
12 Bravo.
12
combat
Bravo.
engineer.
Okay, combat engineer. And I remember that you had it all on my list. I just want to make sure that we're walking through everything for everyone else so that they can understand it. And in those 9 years, you did 2 tours, which is better than I ever got to do. I got injured right before my first opportunity to deploy, so I got stuck stateside the entire time, and in New Mexico of all terrible places.
Man. Yeah,
so
that does suck.
Absolutely. So, what was part of the reason of joining? Because obviously, we want to go back. We want to get to know who you are and give the people a little bit about you. So,
all right. Well, I'll give you some really backstory. My dad, he was military. He did 21 years in the military. So I was also a military brat. Me and my brother. It was just me and my brother, and we traveled. I lived 9 years in my life in Germany. So, yeah, coming back to the States was pretty cool. So being a military brat, seeing it all my life, it wasn't exactly when I got to like 18, 19, like most guys. I was actually really didn't care about it, to be honest, because my dad, I seen it all the time. But to be honest with you, 9/11 happened, and that's when that's my whole perspective changed. I hit a really low point in my life, and I just knew that joining would be the greatest thing to do. I chose the National Guard because it was Army. I knew we could do state and federal, but at the same time, I had 3 other kids. I had 3 kids at the time, and I didn't want to have to leave them, all the time. And so I thought by joining the National Guard, I wouldn't be leaving a lot, but I was definitely mistaken about that. But that's the reason I joined, really, because I just wanted to serve my country, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do my part. I love our country, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I wanted to better myself. And so I joined in 2004, went to Fort Leonard Wood, and got out in 2005, and that's when I started. 2007, I went my first deployment to Afghanistan and came back. Everything was good, did whatever. And 2010, I deployed again to Afghanistan. And
was it before that deployment? That was what we were talking about, where you got injured originally prior to the deployment. Yeah,
the second deployment. See, in the National Guard, you have to go to training before you go to combat. So they sent us to Fort McCoy for 4 months for what we call I can't remember the term, but it's like pre-deployment training. Basically, you got like 4 months to train, get us ready, all fit and ready to go. So during training, I think it was the last couple of weeks of training, I just busted up my knee somehow, and it was already hurting every single day. And I was taking that Ranger candy, that ibuprofen 800. Y'all know what that's about. Shoot. So I was just feeding myself those ibuprofen, and just moved on. I did end up going to a doctor a couple times, so it was written down to show that my knee was hurting, but I never had an MRI or X-ray. They just said, "Here, take this." And I said, "Okay, cool," and I pushed through. And so, like I said, about 6 months into the deployment, never really had an issue with it until I jumped off that vehicle. And then when I did, it felt like my knee I heard a pop, it was a snap, it was done. They literally had to carry me off of the field because I couldn't walk anymore. My knee has swole up so big, it was almost like a cantaloupe. It was bad. It was bad.
And I think that kind of leads into this is where we're getting into it, because obviously you have your military story, which I think is incredible. And I know we wanted to briefly skim over that because this leads to the big stuff that you're trying to do now, and kind of your story that leads to the even bigger stuff that comes along with some of the Facebook page and the YouTube stuff and the stuff that we're going to
yeah.
get into later on here.
Definitely.
And that would be, this is going to be the harder part for you guys to listen to because it's real. We've had a couple vets on here that we've had the opportunity to speak to and then give us their real story about what's happening or what happened in their life to lead them to where they are. And I think this is going to be incredible. It really is, because I know a lot of people can relate to this, and that's where we get into this post military, let's say, the funk.
Yeah.
As we all kind of do when we got out and dealt with it. So, Shawn, without further ado, if you can go into what happened after those 2 years at in the medical.
Okay. All right. So after the 2 years of Fort Gordon, finally retired. Everything was done. I would think I was getting like 70% at the time with the VA, so that wasn't even like, that's like $1,500 a month. I don't know. It's crazy. You're not making any money. Trying to find a job. I'm already depressed to death. I mean, I'm miserable. I had no job. You know, I'm hooked on painkillers. That's another thing. Basically, when I had surgery, they gave me narcotics. They gave me painkillers, and I needed them, but I didn't need them as long as I kept them. And they kept me on them for the whole 2 years that I was at Fort Gordon. The whole 2 years I was on them.
Oof.
Not even a, hey, do you want to try to wean you off or anything? It was like, look. And if they tried, I'm sure I would have fought it because, you know, I was an addict.
They're just trying to up the dosage at that point.
Yeah, it was just like, here, take these. And I'm like, okay, great, you know. And so anyways, while having those, I signed up for the VA and I go talk to my doctor, and I get this now, I'm taking anxiety medicine with my pain medication. So you're talking Xanaxes and Percocets at the same time.
Rough.
And not even being told that it's dangerous. It's like, here. I'm like, okay. So I sign up for the VA. And the first thing the VA tells me is, well, we can't give you Xanax and Percocet at the same time because it can kill you. I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And they're like, you need to choose. I got to choose between my pain and my anxiety. I knew that my pain wasn't as much anymore. It was more, like I said, more the addiction. But I really needed my anxiety medicine. I have serious anxiety. And I chose my anxiety medicine. Well, when I did that, it put me in a state of mind where now I have to find a way to get my painkillers, which was obviously on the drug. It was on the streets. So that's where that led to me spending all my money on trying to buy drugs off the streets. You know, here I am, a combat veteran, somebody that's supposed to have, you know, purpose and be proud. But here I am living like a bum. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a junkie. I'm trying to find pills every day. I'm fighting. My marriage is falling apart. I'm trying to find jobs. It's just terrible, man. I was just losing my mind. And so that went on for, I'll say, for a good 2-3 years, and finally got boosted up to 100% at the VA. They finally seen all my problems. I had everything done, and I'm still an addict at this time, but they don't know it. You know, I'm not telling anybody. And, you know, I'm not proud of it, right? I'm not going around telling everybody. I'm just kind of keeping it hid. But my family knows it. You know, I'm doing a bunch of stupid stuff. And I've gotten some trouble and just crazy stuff. And so a brother of mine, his name was Barrero. He was from Puerto Rico. Me and him served the entire 2 years together at Fort Gordon. And he attempted suicide 3 times. 3 times while he was at Fort Gordon. And, you know, they would lock us up in the 15th floor. We call it the 15th floor. We would hang out for a couple of days and they let us out. And I always knew the guy had problems. We talked all the time. We were best friends. And he got out about 4 months after I left. So you're talking about 3 years later. Roughly now we're talking 2013, 14, 15, about 2015, 16 now. And, well, no, 2016 of September. And I try to call my buddy and see how he's doing, and no response. I call him again and no response. Finally, a week later, his daughter gets a hold of me and says, my daddy killed himself. That was my best friend. You know, he did 4 tours. He did 4 tours, you know, and he struggled with PTSD. He struggled with addiction. He struggled with so much, but he ended up taking his life. He hung himself, and his daughter found him. And it blew my mind, man. Yeah.
So he was already back home when he actually
did. Yeah, he was home. So it just gets me, man. You know, we're veterans. We're sitting here, you know, I say we win the war and then come home and lose the battle. It's like, how do you get deployed 4 times and survive and then come home and take your own life? That just shows you how miserable, how miserable. You know,
and I put money on it that being at Fort Gordon for as long as you were and seeing as many people come and go, Because I think that's part of some of the hardest part of being in the military is how many people you watch come and go from your life.
Yes, yes, you hit it right on the nail, man. That's really true. You know, we'd have guys coming in for, you know, for something minor, and then they'd be gone right back in the country, or they send them here or send them there. And then we had guys that we stuck around with to the end, and it was just like, wow, you know, we're here for the long haul. And it was hard. It was hard in a lot of ways, but
you know, I think a lot of it is like they decorate it as you're going away and you're doing all this great stuff, and you are.
Yeah.
But when you're out there, like you said, for a year, and you don't have your family every day, and then you don't have like, it's not really a normal situation like police officers. Remember when you told me police officers, they got a super tough job, but they could see their family every day.
Exactly.
But when you're gone, you don't. So I think that if you really amplify that for really long periods of time, like one deployment, get a small rest, but then you got to go back, or it's actually addicting too. So there's multiple factors of problem that could lead to problems, because you're addicted. You go on mobe, but then you have all these personal factors that come out in your personal life. So you're still fighting it here. And I think a lot of people go through this, and it's super tough to deal with. It's probably the toughest thing that I've ever had to deal with. And I know that other people, especially combat vets, like it's just so incredibly tough. But I like that. I like that what you said. It's like you go over there, you win the war, but
you win the war and come home and lose the battle.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's like it just blows my mind. It's like, you know, I know the reason, but people that don't, they would say, why? How can a person go to combat, survive 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then take their life at home? Well, that just shows you
just how tough it really is.
That this isn't a joke out here. You know, people, 22 veterans are taking their life every day. This isn't a joke. That's over 8,000 veterans a year. 8,000 a year. You put it that way. So,
and there's other factors like career factors, like, you know, when you come back and you're trying to recover, you need a job, you need stability, you need a reason to wake up every day, you need small wins. But sometimes being in the reserves, for instance, it's really hard to get steady employment because you're gone, come back, try and get something new, got to learn something new. Learning something new is so stressful, and then it adds and compounds, and so there's
it's like, hey, I can't be here this weekend or whatever. And
people don't like that. People don't like that. They're like, what the? You can't be here? Yeah, man, I got this other commitment.
But ultimately, when if you want, I jump back in. If you want, that killed me. That right there was on top of everything else that I was going through with the addiction, the depression, you know, the suicidal thoughts myself. Everything that felt like I hit rock bottom. That felt like right there, you know, I just lost my best friend. I knew exactly what he was going through. And that's what the sad part was. I was like, you know, but I was angry. I was very, very angry too. And that's when I started doing research, man. I started saying, you know, I just started doing research. I think I was on Facebook. I started looking around, and I seen something about suicide, and I looked it up and found out 22 veterans every day are taking their lives. You know, the VA will say 20, but they don't take into the fact that, you know, you got those that aren't in the VA system, and they don't count overdoses, you know, because they don't know if that's an overdose or if it's on purpose, you know. But veterans are killing themselves every day. In 2017, 40% of veterans that died from committing suicide was alcohol and drug related.
Wow.
40%. So not only is suicide an epidemic, but the drugs and alcohol is an epidemic with it. So, you know.
Yeah, that number might actually be higher than the statistics.
It could very well be. Yeah, definitely. Especially in bigger cities, you know, people that have more people, you know. It's terrible. But I was there, man. I was there. And right after all that happened, it wasn't even about a couple months later, I had actually, this is the story to this, man. This is why I believe in Battle Buddy Check by phone, because this works. It saved my life. I sat there one day, I was in the backyard, and I was so miserable. Me and my wife was going through problems. It felt like we've been together now 15 years. At the time, it was like 12, 13 years, but you know, she's always been my rock. And for us not to get along and for us to be fighting like we are, I knew it was all me. It was like I had issues. and I didn't know how to deal with these things. And so I really got to the point where I felt like my family would be better off without me. That's the way I looked at it. Like, not that I wanted to be selfish and I wanted to take my life. It was, you guys will be better without me.
Yeah.
And I walked in the backyard and I found a tree, and I was going to do it, man. I had everything planned out. I was going to hang myself just like my brother did it. I said, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it just like he did it. And before I could even really begin to start doing this stuff, my phone started blowing up. And it was a guy that I had been talking to. He was a veteran. He kept calling me. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even want to answer him right now. You know how we are, right? We're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. We isolate ourselves, we shut down, and I'm focused on what I'm trying to do. And he just kept calling, and something told me to answer. So I did. I answered the phone, and guess what? We started talking for like an hour, and I felt better. And I felt better, like it passed. You know, I was like, man, I'm good. It just, something hit me, and I was just like,
was he hurting? Was he hurting though?
He called because he said that he had a bad feeling about me.
That he had a bad feeling about you?
About me.
Oh, yeah.
So something like kept telling him that like he just wanted to check on me.
That's funny. That actually happened to me just now, and I just texted a guy back as you're talking about this. This is how real this is, because we're going on annual training on Saturday, and it's a little stressful getting geared up because you're used to sleeping and doing nothing. And I gotta
adjust.
I gotta flip my switch and get ready to go. And so they gave me this assignment, text everybody, get them all on board. And I basically was bugging him. I'm like, hey man, make me happy, buy a T-shirt, because he hadn't bought nothing yet. And he asked me, he's like, man, are you okay? Just something ain't right with you, like kind of, and
something off.
Yeah, it was like, and like today in particular, it's a little bit slow. So I'm like, I'm tripping a little bit. I'm like, man, come on, man, what's going on? But so like that battle buddy check thing is pretty real, because that guy in particular who I'm talking about, he knows me pretty darn well. So it gets to the point where like these are your boys, and whether you like to believe that they're not that close to you and they don't really know you that well, but it's can be farther from the truth. Like, you guys are the same people in different bodies almost, feeling those same problems. So
different wars, different whatever, but
but it's all
emotions, man.
And the whole foundation to get to those feelings, the military, is all the same. So
it's funny that you say it the way you do, because obviously we just had 4th of July last week, right? And I always get bombarded with everybody and their mother telling me to go buy fireworks at a certain place, right? Because everyone does their fundraisers for fireworks. But no matter what, every year I go to the same place. I go to the VFW and I buy fireworks for them. And I was actually down there last week on Wednesday. As soon as I got off work, I had an interview that I was doing, and then hey, we need to go pick up fireworks. So we went over there and obviously spent way too much money. I sat there. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to some of these old vets, and you kind of look into their eyes and you realize how much they needed to talk just to bullshit about something.
You hit that, man.
And I'm sitting to these aren't like your normal everyday, like me and you. We're all vets here, but we're still we're still in the same age bracket. I'm talking Vietnam vets. I'm talking about the 90s vets from Desert Storm and stuff like this. And I'm sitting here having a conversation with them. And what's funny is all I started talking about was, hey, so I do this podcast. I want to listen to your guys' stories. Would you guys ever be willing? We'll be calling you. We'll be calling you next week. We want to get as many people on there talking and bullshit. And I'm like, let's do a big event. Let's do a panel interview. Let's do whatever you guys want to do, because you see the light in their face just glow when they realize that people want to hear this. They want to hear about this, and they need it almost as much as we want it. And it's crazy how you're talking about the battle buddy check and stuff like that. Obviously, we're a little bit different on the Air Force side, because we don't have battle buddies, but we got our airman checks and stuff like that. And so I just it's crazy. The concept runs all the way across the board the same. So
it's kind of like
what decade.
The thing is, the basics. They always tell you the basics kind of is what works. Like. And you could really take that a really long way, like the basic battle buddy check. That's like your main thing when you join basic training. You can't go nowhere unless you're with somebody, right? But you could even really take that concept into much farther things. Like most of the designs that we sell, it's always the most simplistic things that a lot of people can identify with. A lot of times, like people identify with the most simplest things because you don't even really want to think that you really are that simple. But our bodies are dealing with so much stuff, like that simple check on a person, or the simplicity in some of the things that you talk about, or how things are presented. I think that could go a long way.
Oh yeah, I mean, as you can see, I mean, the Army especially, I mean, they designed that, man. They put it in our head first day of basic training, like, this is your battle buddy. You're going to check on him.
Yeah.
You guys are going to work together. You know, they installed that.
You cannot do anything without him. You're like, what the?
You're at the hips. But I wanted to reiterate real quick on the Vietnam veterans. I started, listen, Vietnam veterans, they didn't know what PTSD was, but they called it shell shock. You know what I mean? Like, whenever they heard that, and a lot of people say they don't want to talk about it, that's not true. The problem is when people say they have a Vietnam veteran that doesn't talk about the problems, because he has nobody to talk to. You know, look how easy it is for me, you, and all of us to talk about this when it's us. Mm-hmm. But now you throw a civilian in there, then things get a little bit different. Now we're kind of we're not saying as much. They don't understand.
They could relate, but it's a different, it's like a different, it's like a different wavelength almost.
Right.
Like
well, the mindset's completely different. And this is some of the stuff that we hit on. And we were talking about this beforehand. We're talking about this mindset between military guys and talking about the mindset of first responders. We're all in that sheepdog bracket. We're all in this. We're willing to protect everyone that's around us. And that's really what drives what we're doing here.
That's right.
And I love hearing what you got going on, because you're bringing up so much research. It's not like you're just saying, hey, this is what it needs to be. You're actually saying, oh my, you know what? I took the time to actually look up the numbers. I took the time to actually look up where the statistics are coming from and how they change based on what's going on. And my biggest question is because obviously you had your best friend there, you said in 2016 commit suicide. And then you started doing research about this. Is that what kind of drove you to get to that clean and sober stage? Is that what drove you? How did that stage really set itself up for you?
This is the fun part. I like talking about the negative stuff because that's my message. That's my story, where I came from. Mm-hmm. But now I get to talk about where I'm at and how it started. So yes, that's how it all began. You know, the suicide happened, me doing research, realizing we're losing so many veterans every day to suicide. Obviously it's an epidemic. And that's what really got me, you know, wow, veterans need somebody to talk to. Veterans need help. Veterans need to do something. So I started creating
over and over
and over. You know, it was like,
we need help.
So, yeah, we need help. And the VA is just saying, here, pills. And it's like, dude, I'm fighting to get off of these things. But, you know, so I'm still heavy in addiction at this time. And what I do is I've already been on Facebook since like 2009, but I'm not doing anything productive, right? So 2016, I started saying, you know what if I created a Facebook group where veterans can come together and we can just all talk and BS and just, you know, a veteran go and just vent. And so I created a group called Vet Life for Life. And originally I wanted it just for veterans, but of course it didn't turn that way because I had so many patriotic friends and so many people that are supporters. They're like, oh, can I join? I'm like, sure, come on in. You know, and doing more research and realizing how many female veterans that struggle with PTSD, not even from combat. You know, it blew my mind when I realized 80% of female veterans that struggle with PTSD is because of sexual trauma. Like, Jesus, you know, women are being raped in the military. That's real deal stuff. And so, you know, I had to bring everybody in with all kinds of problems. Dude, I would stay up till 2 or 3 and 4 in the morning just taking phone calls from veterans. You can ask my wife. She would say, Shawn, you've got to take a break, because I was just constantly getting on Facebook saying, hey, anybody's got a problem, hit me up. Anybody's got a problem, hit me up. And before you knew it, I'd get the phone was ringing all day, all night. And I started building a team. So I built a team, and we all started doing the same thing. And that went on for a while, and it was really good. But I just wasn't feeling like this is my purpose. And so I created another Facebook group. It's called Veterans Finding Purpose in Recovery. Well, let me back up. I jumped one too fast. So yeah, sorry, man.
It's exciting. You see this?
Hey,
I love this
man,
excitement.
like 5 years, man.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
thinking
man.
you're gonna be on stage in some huge veteran
Yes.
fucking
TED Talks right here. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, man.
We're gonna be in
Yeah.
some stadium somewhere, and he's gonna be a guest speaker, man. That's what I
It's
see.
gonna happen, dude. And
Just remember that you started with one of our podcasts too.
damn right. I will always remember my peoples. But so anyways, all right, tracking. All right, so starting Vet Life for Life, still not doing very well with myself, and at this point, I'm also taking on everybody else's problems. So it's really not helping me at all, because when people call me and they tell me their problems, I tend to take them in really strongly, and I start feeling their problems the same way, and it really just makes me even more sad, makes me feel even more bad. So I do everything I can to help somebody. So that's going on for a while. I'm not doing very good, and the thoughts of suicide are coming back. But nothing dramatic. I didn't go and plan it. I just started thinking about it again. I was like, wow, who am I? What am I ever going to do? These thoughts were coming in my mind. Who am I? What am I ever going to do? God, I'm a piece of crap. I'm spending all my money on drugs. Everything, bro. I'm spending my whole VA check on drugs. Like I am ridiculously out there. And my wife's tired of it. And I say, you know what? It was like God came by and smacked me in the back of the head, and he was just like, wake up. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Self-care. I need to take care of myself. I cannot even help these veterans if I don't help myself first. Like, that's what I need to do. And so I said, you know what? No matter what it's going to take, I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed, but I told my wife, I said, baby, I need help. She said, I know, Shawn. I was like, I need help. Like, she knows this. I'm being stupid. Like, she doesn't, but she does. And because I'm trying to hide everything, but I can't say that I'm very well spending, thousands of dollars on marijuana. That's not happening. So, so I tell her I need help. And so we call around trying to find a detox place. And the only place we could find was going to cost me $600 to detox, because I had to detox, because if I didn't, I would be sick. I'd be throwing up. I was just deadly sick. I had already started the very beginning of heroin. Like, I started snorting heroin. I didn't bang it, but I got to that level, how bad it has gotten, because pills were so expensive on the streets. So yeah, I was turning junky bad. But I wanted help. I wanted to help veterans. I wanted to help my brothers and sisters. It was a passion of mine. I was like, I got to do this, but I can't help anybody if I don't help myself first. So I go and get detox. I come up with $600 and I detox for 6 days. When I get out, I feel great, but I'm not better. So I start going to the IOP. It's called intensive outpatient treatment. And I started doing that. And of course, and everybody knows my story, I started Suboxone, because I know there's I started Suboxone. It's a synthetic narcotic that helps you
fight it,
stay off of drugs, right? There's a lot of discussions, man. I've went live on Facebook about it, and I had this group saying it was, why put one down for another, and then had these people over here say, wow, if it helps, just do it. And I'm here to say, if you're strong-minded and you're willpowered and you want to stay clean, you can do Suboxone to keep you clean and stay off the drugs. That's a fact. But anyways, I did that. I pushed myself every day. I started helping veterans constantly. I was still doing my work. I was staying clean. Here I am 18 months later. Yesterday was my 18th month date of clean and sober. Haven't had any drugs, any alcohol. So I just reached down deep inside of me, and I just wanted to get clean, and I did. And that's one of the biggest accomplishments that I've made so far, is that I'm clean and sober. And now I got my mind right. See, I got something else I like to say. People say, hey, Shawn, I'm at rock bottom. Now I've lost my way. I'm at rock bottom. There's nothing else I can do. I say, hey. Listen, rock bottom doesn't mean it's over. Rock bottom means that's actually a good thing. It's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? Yeah, how's that good? Listen, I'll tell you how. Because you hit rock bottom, there's only one place left to go, and that's up. Yeah. So when I tell people that, look, if you're at the rock bottom, now you have no other choice but to start going up. That's it. And that's what I tell people when they start pushing, they go. So anyways, I'm clean and sober. I've created another organization on Facebook. It's called, this is where I skip. It's called Veterans Finding Purpose and Recovery, because I am in recovery, but I'm good, you know. And like I told you earlier, you know, 40% of veterans that were committing suicide is because of drugs and alcohol. So the epidemic of drugs and alcohol in the veteran community is terrible, and it all plays into the same role. They all end up committing suicide. So I wanted to create an organization that didn't just help veterans with their mind, you know, with purpose. That's the other thing. That's lack of purpose. You know, if you don't have purpose in your life, then you're never gonna be able to get out of your funk. You know, you got to find that passion that you love. You got to find that purpose that you want to do something great. And that's what I try to encourage people. Listen, just because you have mental health, you can't allow that to define who you are. You can't allow that PTSD to stop you. You can't allow that depression to stop you and your anxiety and your addiction. Dig deep, fight the cravings, fight what you have to do, and just be great and work on you. And so I try to teach people these things. And so I created and developed an organization that was supposed to be a nonprofit, but I haven't quite gotten to that level yet, because I'm at a stage in my life where I went to DC and I spoke in front of 600 people at a rally, and that opened up the doors. And I was like, wow, these people are cheering me on. They really think I'm doing well. So I did that. Started making live videos, started making inspiration videos. People were just like, you know, 3,000 to 4,000 views, telling me I was doing great. All the messages of people saying I'm saving their lives. I'm like, oh my God, is this real? And it's really happening. So then there was this organization called Save 22 Veterans. And I backed up just a little bit. I created an event myself. I said, you know what? I have a slogan I showed you guys earlier with the picture with my face in the microphone. I have a slogan that I say. It's called, don't just talk about it, be about it. Mm-hmm. Don't just talk about it, be about it. So what that means is we can get on Facebook or here or anywhere you want and talk all day long, but until we start making action happen, until we start doing something to make change, nothing's going to change. We can talk all day, but I want to see some real action. So that's what I'm about. And so I said, you know what? I want to create an event. I want to do a 22K. And I created a 22K in my city. And I had people from all over the country that came down and joined this 22K ruck march. I created a ruck march, and we did 22K in honor, you know, in trying to prevent veteran suicide, raising awareness. So I did that. That was great. Everybody showed up. It was amazing. And then I got invited to another event up in Ohio, which was from Save 22 Veterans, and I went up there and did a 5K with them.
I saw that hat on you right now on your
yeah.
That's a dope hat.
Yeah, man. They gave me that hat and everything, and I went up there and I was a guest speaker. And now I'm a guest speaker in Columbia. Actually, on the 27th, I'm going to another, I think it's a 3K. It's for Palmetto Patriot Project. I'm a guest speaker. Then I've been a guest speaker for a wedding that's coming up. I've done tons of podcasts. You guys invited me. It's just life is turning around, and it's all happening because I started believing in myself, and I started telling myself that, listen, I'm not going to allow my problems to define who I am, and I'm going to push hard, and obviously I have a message, and I'm going to put it out there. So, boom, there you go, man. That's the story from zero to hero. And I don't mean it like I'm a hero, okay? I know some people can look at it like, oh, he's not a hero. No, I'm not a hero. I'm just saying, in my civilian life as a veteran, I'm a hero to myself. I'm a hero to myself because I was a junkie. I was a veteran. I was a military guy. I was a veteran, a junkie. Now I'm back to where I'm supposed to be at, making a difference in this country and saving lives daily. And that's my purpose.
Yeah, I like that, man. I think.
I hope you caught it, man. I'm sorry I was going a little fast.
No. We caught. I'm pretty positive we caught all of it. It's just the energy alone from you talking. It just pumps me up with what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to do anything more than what you're trying to do, other than believe in what we're doing. What was that?
Do you feel like I might have motivated you guys? Like motivated you?
I
like
think
you feel a little energy boost?
I think your energy is. I think your energy is incredible.
Okay,
challenge that's what is motivating is your energy. Right. It's not necessarily like because a lot of the things you said people have said before, but I really like
how I'm doing it, how I say it, how the energy comes out.
I like how fast you are and how energetic you are. I think
cool.
I think the fact that you can keep it up is incredible.
Yeah, don't kill yourself on that, keeping it up.
Yeah. No, I don't worry about it, man. It just flows. I've said the story so many
And
times. It's really almost coming second nature too, as well.
I think in the future that would just single-handedly make you super successful, and anybody who does this to be super successful is like, you know, that when you get to motivate or you come on this, that makes you feel really good for the day. You got accomplished. You got another source of outlet on there. So getting up every morning and getting excited about something and then accomplishing that goal, and having something to actually get you up and know that you could do it that day. Because sometimes people might have this huge goal, like, well, if I'm not at a stadium in front of 15,000, I'm a loser.
Right.
That's not the right way to look at it. I think the right way to train your brain is, wow, I had a successful Sheepdog Ops podcast today.
Yes.
I had a super successful meeting with my wife after that, and I was so pumped, and I hung out with my kids. Like, those super small things is what will change your life.
Yes, man. I love it. It's the small things that'll create into big things, man.
Right. And then before you know it, it's not like you could see that big thing.
No,
you can't. But
that's the biggest thing that we try to strive for on here is it's not about reaching the masses. It's about
the message you're putting
one
out
person.
there.
As long as one person hears it and they think anything differently than what they were thinking before they heard it, I feel like it's a success. As long as you have that one person that it reaches, you've already done your job, because that was the one person who needed to hear it. I could have 100,000 views. I could have one view. As long as one person is reached and is changed, can do something different or better, or heck, they might even turn it down a little bit if they need to.
That's why you guys are going to be successful in this, because you're looking at it like that. You know,
that is true.
Just saving one veteran a day, just saving one life is all that matters. You know, you're saving a life and you've done your job. I mean, you've done something. You made a difference. So.
And that is true, because we've had days like that where, oh man, today nobody really watched it, or when we first started, nobody really listened. But it always led to a next guest, and it always led to a next win, and it always led to a something next, and it's good. And then the other thing I'd say is, you know, when people have a lot, when they're at rock bottom, it's good because you could go up. The other mistake a lot of people make is they know they're broken, or they're broken at some point, or there's a lot of things in their life that are broken, or it's not working. But basically, you just got to bundle all that up, put it together, and like just get rid of that.
You know the two letters inside broken, right?
Which one? What is it?
Okay, the word broken. The two letters that are in the middle. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's
so
interesting.
if you're broken, you're okay, man.
That's good. Yeah. So if you isolate that, and then there's opportunity.
Have the word broken and pull out the okay.
Yeah, because there's opportunity in the okay. There
That'd
always
be a
is.
dope shirt, man.
Oh, that is a dope shirt, bro. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, throw veteran guy on there too.
That's on the back. But that's true, man. There is okay inside of broken. You just gotta trash the broken.
That's right. Just come out and figure out how you want to put it out there.
Yep. So, that's perfect advice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess now's a good time, guys. go ahead, Jerry.
Before you get over there, I want to give Shawn just a chance to plug all your stuff that you've got going on. Be able to talk. That way we can get all the sites out there. Obviously, I'll be emailing you right after this, so that way I can get all your sites. So we'll have it in the description, guys. That way, if you are looking for any of these kind of Facebook groups or his YouTube channel, I want to make sure that you guys can reach out and get a hold of his content and be able to watch it, and maybe it'll make your day better. I know it will. It's made my day better just talking to him.
I'm happy just talking to you guys, man.
Same here.
So okay, well, if anybody wants to reach me, go ahead.
Sometimes Shawn, listen to this. Sometimes this may not even be fair to the listeners, because I get more out of this podcast than somebody is listening, and sometimes that might be true, and I don't want that to happen. I want them to get just as much. Like that.
Not always, man. Trust me. I seen a lady the other day. Me and her was talking, and she had this radio blasting really loud, and I was like, "What are you listening to?" She's like, "A podcast." She goes, "I love it." So trust me, there's people.
People do. People
they blast them. So
Okay, go on to your thing.
All right. If anybody wants to contact me, the best way to do it, first of all, be on Facebook. Go through Facebook, find Shawn, the veteran guy, on Facebook, or Shawn B. Laurie. That's my original profile. If you want to go to my website, which is in the works because there's some things I haven't talked about that I'll go ahead and say that I am doing. I am not only trying to be a public speaker, but I am actually building a course. I am trying to build an online course for those that are struggling with mental health and try to help them. It's like it's going to be like a whole guideline. It's going to be like a 6-week thing. You know, you can call me up. We'll have face-to-face like this. It'll be 45-minute. It'll be a whole thing. I'm going to have that going in the works. It's going to be at, it's at Finding Your Purpose. You can email me at findingyourpurpose@veteranguy.com. And the website is www.veteranguy.com. Or you can find me on Veteran Guy, Shawn the Veteran Guy on Facebook, or Shawn the Veteran Guy on Instagram. So Instagram, Facebook, email, and website. Those are the 4 ways you can contact me.
And if you guys look up the Veteran Guy on YouTube, that's actually your channel pops up first.
Yes,
it says Zero to Hero as the official title there. So I want to make sure that gets plugged because I was looking over some of your videos on there, and obviously
I will say YouTube's a little different. YouTube's a bigger platform, so I use that to really express myself all kinds of ways. More patriotic, maybe something I don't agree with, you know, Nike, whatever. I have a lot of energy on YouTube, but to really focus on what I do here, it's mainly my videos on Facebook, Instagram, and even on the other app that we do, TikTok. So I do that too as well. And so, yeah, man, that's all the places.
I love it, man. I'm on your Veteran Guy now, and
before
we did this podcast, guys, just to let you know, if you come on here, I purposely don't really want to understand because I want it to be real. Like I talked to Shawn for just a little bit, but now I'm looking at his website, and it looks really nice. I like that.
Yeah, if you guys are ever curious, I do a lot of the reach out for majority of our guests that we have on this show. And even Shawn, we didn't do a whole lot of talking before I got you on. Obviously, I reached out to you and we went back and forth a few times, and I got your story just so that I had something to base our little outline on. But I just like Mike, I want it to be genuine. I don't want anyone to think that, all right, we're rehearsing this and we're making this big old thing. That's why, you know, when we have issues and flaws and problems, we want it known. So we have everything out there because it's real knows real.
YouTube reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is, though, if you're more vulnerable, the reality is the more vulnerable we make ourselves right now. That's why I said it. Sometimes we're getting more from this podcast because somebody will say, "Hey, Mike, you know, you're a little messed up on that," and I'll be like, "Really? I didn't even know. Let me correct that." And then I'm focusing on that. Okay, or I go, okay, maybe I'm broken in that area. I got to strengthen up in that core area and then focus on that. Like it's tightening up shot groups coming on this thing, man.
Exactly.
So people need to listen. You know.
If I could say just one last thing before y'all boot me out of here, to anybody that's
end
listening,
it now.
Anybody that's listening, just remember, no matter what you're going through, if it's addiction, if it's your mental health, you know, PTSD and anxiety and depression, they're all killers if you allow it. Do not let it define who you are. You know, you define your future. You control your future, not your issues, not your condition, not these things that you're dealing with. It seems hard right now, but if you concentrate on the core, which is self-care, okay? Self-care. Take care of you, take care of yourself. Once you do that, then you'll start seeing doors opening. Now you see, okay, now I can start taking care of my depression. Now I can start helping myself with my addiction. But you got to take care of yourself first. You can't do it for your family. You can't do it for your friends. You have to do it for yourself. If you don't love yourself, who else is going to love you? You know what I mean? You got to love yourself first. So people do want to love you, and people do want to take care of you. You know, they can see that. People can see somebody that's broken. But even in broken, you're okay.
Yeah. And I think that people should absolutely love themselves the most, even though some people might think that's selfish, but I think that you have to love yourself the most to be able to even take care of the rest.
To give love. For you to love me the way you want to, you got to love yourself first.
So much. The most.
Yes, the most.
The most.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that, man. All right, listen, everybody. If you want to win this T-shirt, right, absolutely free, we'll ship it. I already showed it to you at the beginning. Punisher skull, guns and bullets. Just invite 25 people from your friends list to like facebook.com/Battleraddle. And then anybody out there who's listening who will like Shawn's page on Facebook, if you send us screenshots of that, we'll also send you the shirt just because he's our special guest
sweet.
today. Yeah, and I'll send you a shirt, Shawn. Just
I'm excited, man. I'm a rocket for you.
Thanks, brother.
You know I will.
Thanks, brother. I don't know, Jerry. Go ahead, man. That's all I got, brother.
Do you guys don't have anything else going on for the summer? I know.
Oh, I'm sorry. All of July, real quick. All of July, guys. Here's the theme of July. We're doing Christmas in July. So what that means is you buy 2 garments and you stash 1. So, guys, Christmas in July. You could stash your Christmas designs now, get it for free, so that you don't have to worry about that gift later. So that promo code is Bravo 2 Sierra 1. Buy 2 stash 1. So you have to have basically $50 in your cart, add a 3rd item, and then that 3rd item gets dropped off, so you only pay for 2. So Bravo 2 Sierra 1 is the checkout coupon code. That's the whole month of July, Christmas in July. So get out there, take advantage of that.
All right. So that's Battleraddle's. They got that going on. They always take care of me every month. I'm over there with their promos and stuff.
Yeah, and we sent him a spectacular shirt this month on his monthly membership.
This is my new shirt. I am proudly wearing it.
Oh, that's a bad shirt. I like that.
Yeah, that's my next shirt. So as we get done with Battleraddle stuff, we're gonna get back into the Sheepdog Ops things, guys. Make sure all of my designs are over there on Battleraddle's page. They take care of us. They hook us up. We're working on a couple stuff, a couple new things. We're putting together a new logo, actually, with his design team. They're freaking amazing. Those guys rock it every single time. I think I've only seen one thing that we had to take to them and say, hey, guys, that's no bueno. But they fix it. They make it great. They do everything great. They got a lot of stuff going on. Mike, did you want to promo the game stuff? I know you had that going on, too.
It's okay. It's just if we pay people to stream if they stream on Twitch or any other live stream. So the way they do that is they just sign up on the yellow link on our website. Text us directly 530-656-8098. Guys, I'll answer that text right away. I'm obsessed with our customers, so if you want to stream or if you want to talk to me, need a special design, look, man, I'm there with you. So
absolutely, any time of the night, almost basically at that point.
Yeah.
But all of my designs are over there. Everything that you get is over there. Part of that always comes back to the podcast itself, so that way we can get better equipment, get better and more guests on, so we can start developing more and more content for you guys, the listeners. Other than that, if you guys want to donate to the podcast itself, we are on Anchor FM. That is our official donation location. We have a subscription set up there, too. You can go to Patreon. It's Sheepdog Ops on Patreon. Obviously, you can come to the YouTube channel, check us out. Any emails or concerns with that stuff, let us know. It's sheepdogmindset@gmail.com. I think that I've hit all the points that I needed to hit here. Shawn, I wanted to thank you a whole bunch for being on, my man. I appreciate you taking the time and let me reach out to you and bring you on to this. We'll definitely get you hooked up and taken care of.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you as well, Shawn. I learned a lot from you, man. Can't wait to be your friend, meet you one day, and keep working with you. And
for sure.
Send us all that information for how they find you, so that when I put it on, because what we'll do is, of course, he'll put it on the Sheepdog Ops YouTube. I'll put it on the Battleraddle YouTube. We'll also put it on our Battleraddle website. But right under there, you're at that veteran guy or whatever your social media tags are, so that they can find you right away. And if you even want your phone number and your website, all that in the put it on there.
Shoot me an email after we're done here.
I actually do have a business phone number I could have given you guys, so I'll send that to you.
All right.
Yeah, we'll put it on there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Other than that, I think we're good to go here. So I'm going to end this like we always do every single week. Remember, don't be the sheep in the fight, be the dog.